Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Take stock of your money-making skills. Now, of course, on this channel, I talk about managing money. I talk about different businesses. But the thing with everything going on, every single person needs to take stock of every single money-making skill they have. Now, yeah, some of us might be in some business where we're getting, high five figures, six figures, indeed even seven figures. Oh, that's great. But let's just be real. The overwhelming majority of people, if they making 40,000 a year, they're doing well. That's how deep it is. If they're making 40,000, and somebody might say they ain't that much, please. That's more than most people on the planet. That's how deep it is, because we have to just be honest. People ain't balling out of control like that. You might have one or two here and there, but most people, they need to be in a marriage or something like that. They need to get a part-time job, something like that. They got to do what they can. One of the things to help someone is to know exactly what they can do. Like, for example, okay, this is me full time. I do podcasts, I do videos. At some point, I got to get back into writing. I got to just knock out a book somewhere. I got to knock out a book. I haven't published a book in a couple years, and nothing like really just original since 2015. I said, okay. Because the ones I published after that, they were just a compilation of some previous essays anyway. So, okay, I need to be working on that. That's one of my money-making skills. I've made money off of my books. Money-making skill could be just your sales skills. Are you a good salesperson? Seriously, that's major, because sales is one of those things people will always need. It's just a question of what. If you really look at anything involving sales, there's always a high turnover. Somebody's just not in the right spot. They got to keep moving around, might not be making money. There's so many little things that must be dealt with. So many little things in sales. But if you have those serious skills, you could probably get something, because somebody always needs sales. You know what? One of your skills might be able to give great customer service. Now, yeah, we got a lot of automated stuff, but say you got great skills as a restaurant server. Now, somebody might say, oh, that ain't a job. Or contraire, my frere. Usually when I go to restaurants, I tip very well. Like bad service still will get a 20% tip from me. Somebody say, what would you give them that? It's like, no, for me. Because I realize they still living off of it, as long as they just not obnoxious. But if they get obnoxious or something, that's when I get to the point. I say, let me speak to your manager, but I haven't got to that point yet. Usually what I get is great service to mediocre service. Usually that's what I get. But let's talk about just being a server, period. What if you have that skill? That's not something to look down on. Because I was looking at it. I was looking at the tips. If someone's a server, they just do average. Just average tips. They get a good average tip. It's suggested like usually at least 18%. Okay, all right, you're getting at least 18%, right? Okay, all right. After a while, depending on the size of the party and everything, you can make a good server can make $200 or $300 a day if a really good server. That's a serious thing. And I recommend many young people, if they can, do that, because you're dealing with different types of people. But some really good servers, you can make a lot of money. And if you can get the hours, shoot, there's some servers, they can make a serious wage and stuff. And of course, if they're really good, they can move up to manager or something. But let's just keep it at the server. That's a great skill. If you got that skill, boom. One of my other skills, I told you I work retail. I was primarily doing merchandising, which is basically you go into a store, you see the shirts folded a certain way, looking a certain style. That was me. Now somebody would say, that ain't nothing. Au contraire, my frere. Reason I even got into merchandising, I was just part-time at first and stuff. Had another job. I was like, merchandisers make how much? I saw an article. They were making six figures. So at the retail store I was working at, we had like outside merchants coming in, setting up stuff. Two of them living in like big neighborhoods. I mean, they getting money. I'm like, you live where? And wait a minute, I'm just doing this part time. You get how much just to fold some shirts? I'm like, wow. Like, that's a serious skill. It's ironic because I looked down on that skill at first because I had a friend who was doing all that. I was like, man, that ain't nothing. I ain't tell her to her face. I was nice enough not to do that. But then when I got into it, I was like, wait a minute. That's serious. Even thought about like a freelance merchandising business. Yeah, I think about 1,000 businesses. Like offering merchandising services to maybe small clothing stores and something. Yeah, that was before people got big online, but still in the back of my mind. And indeed, I got skills as a vendor. I was thinking, hey, I could set up like a major vending setup or something just in like a pretty decent flea market and really merchandise in there, really make it look good. But it's a skill. Think about everything you do. You might be a great driver. If you're a really good driver, good with customer service, I mean, you got the ride sharing and everything. You could be good at cutting grass. But here's the bottom line. Take stock of every skill you have. You never know when you might need it. I give you an example of myself. Like, I'm all right now. Well, I'm better than all right. But I could do some warehouse work. I don't mind moving some stuff around. And I actually thought about it, too. I actually thought about it just to have some extra money and really just to get some exercise and stuff, and I would put the money just straight to savings and just to stay busy. Don't have the time for all of that, but anything ever happened, I could. And then we won't talk about the skills I have to work in the government. So there's plenty of stuff out there. There's plenty of stuff, and there's plenty of stuff that you can do, but you got to know it because that's how deep it is. Because here's a reality. Like, I'm good now, but I told you, there's been times, I remember I was working in the government, still had a part-time job, and was still doing some vending. 3 things. But I was living very well, and I would say I was seriously putting that money in my savings. But if anything broke down, I always had something to go back to. Because even with when I was working part-time in the gym, they had to cut my hours back. But I had the other stuff, so I wasn't losing any sleep. So, of course, hours came back and stuff. But when you're in a position where you always got something that you had to make money, you sleep a whole lot better. There's a lot of people, if they lose that one job, that one, part-time job, they in trouble for a while. But you don't want to be in that position. Always know what you can do, what you can offer. All right? So anyway, y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.